I'm Kathy Merler with Dairy Today, and I'm here in San Diego at the 2011 annual meeting of the National Milk Producers Federation, where this morning was spent in a town hall meeting with several staff members and executives of the National Milk Producers Federation. I'm here with Dana Brooks, who is the Senior Vice President of Government Relations for National Milk. Dana, among the many things that you discussed this morning, one of them was that the Foundation for the Future proposal has now morphed into the Dairy Security Act. Can you explain a little about how National Milk feels about that and what some of the major changes are between what was before and what will be proposed now?
Sure. 2 years ago, when we looked at developing this plan, we were in a serious economic crisis. So we thought we needed to take almost advantage of this time to do a comprehensive reform of dairy policy. It was antiquated. It certainly wasn't the safety net that producers needed at the time. We knew we had to work with Congress. So we went to Congress to then Chairman of the House Agriculture Committee, Collin Peterson from Minnesota, who has great interest in dairy and the dairy industry, and sought his advice and his counsel of what he saw was the future for policy reform and his direction and guidance on where we should go. So we did that legislatively. That's how he took the lead and moved forward. But the process has been a moving process. It's been very live, very fluid. So we've worked with our dairy producers to develop the Foundation for the Future. And then we presented that to Congress, to the Dairy Caucus, to the chairs and ranking members of the Agriculture Committee. We had numerous briefings, and from that, Chairman, then who became Ranking Member Peterson after the last election, introduced the Dairy Security Act. We worked with them with him and his staff on and off as they had to, kind of in some ways, redirect because of government restrictions or maybe budget guidelines that we're facing, and but we certainly work with them. Some things that changed from that.
What would be 2 or 3 of those main changes?
Sure. Because again, the budget situation, they had to look at a way to fund a better safety net. And our original proposal had no premiums, no fees for the basic coverage. We called it the free safety net. But now there will be an administrative fee from $100 to $1,000, depending on your production.
And that's per year. A producer would pay per year.
Per year. But that's not different from some other insurance programs that are available through Farm Service ABC today. There's the catastrophic policy and the NAP program, which is a non-insured agriculture program. And they pay an administrative fee for those. And they're very minimum fees, but it is a way to help fund the programs that help us. So that was one of the basic changes. The premium structure is something on the supplemental that we've worked with them on. But a big change that we see first was a little bit to adjust to, but I think our producers are 100% supportive, is moving the program from mandatory government intervention to a voluntary. So as producers, we heard that I don't want the government in my business. I don't want the government on my farm. So it was an opportunity for producers to make that decision, what they need, what is the best safety net for them, and when they sign up for that protection, then they're automatically enrolled in the market stabilization program. So they work hand in glove.
Finally, what's next for National Milk, for producers? What's next with the Dairy Security Act?
Well, right now, this week, the House and Senate Agriculture Committees are supposed to submit some proposals or a proposal to the Super Committee, the Joint Committee on Deficit Reduction, that by law has to reduce by $1.2 trillion of the budget by December the 23rd. They have to have a vote. So this week they need to submit a proposal from the Agriculture Committee to show reduction, and those principals have said they are willing to give up $23 billion of the agriculture budget. But that for dairy, we had been advised to show some savings. We we have 20% below our baseline, so we show a savings. So we submitted that early on to the committees, and I think that we feel, I say cautiously optimistic, that's going to be wrapped into a package that the House and the Senate Agriculture Committees will submit to the Super Committee. Now, this is an enormous process and a daunting task for Congress, to say the least. If this process breaks down and Super Committee doesn't agree to the proposal, December 23rd rolls around, we don't have a vote on it. The dairy programs expire September the 30th. So dairy policy must be reviewed and reauthorized next year. So if the Super Committee fails to act, we'll still work with agriculture leaders in the spring. We have legislation. It could be standalone. It could be wrapped in other bills. It could be a part of an overall farm bill that they'll have to move forward. Most of the farm bill expires next year. So they'll have to, if it's not now, and it will be later. The unfortunate situation is we'll be under another baseline. So and it will be reduced in March. So for us, the anxiety is sooner rather than later, because we'll have more funds now to work to have a stable safety net as opposed to what we could be dealing with after March.
So there was a call made to producers this morning as part of this getting the Dairy Security Act moving forward. Could you reiterate that?
Absolutely. I tell producers, I'm a lobbyist, but I represent you. I can go in and meet with members of Congress, but they want to hear from you. They want to hear what's going on your farm. Tell your story. How important is this to you, really? And we've asked farmers to make phone calls to their members of Congress, to their senators, send letters, send fax, email, and we've made it as easy as 1, 2, 3. All you have to do is go on our website. There's Dairy Great on there. They can put in their zip code and it pulls up their members of Congress. They can send an email letter. It's always good to make a phone call. As a former congressional staffer, it meant a lot when a farmer called me directly when I was working for a member on the Agriculture Committee, and I know they call from their tractors and their cars and their pickup trucks, so they might as well call Congress too, and they can be taken seriously on a tractor.
Thank you, Dana.
Thank you for your time.